Hi loved ones, my name is Lumea and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about conflict. How do you handle conflict? How do you show up to conflict? Do you show up to conflict? Does it scare you? Do you run from it? Do you look for it? Right? Conflict is designed to give you the ability to discuss differences with another person in an attempt to harmonize that energy. When it's done from the outside, you can see two individuals engaging in conversation and emotions are involved, because typically conflict involves two people who are very married to their opinion. And as a result, these individuals may have differing perspectives and they clash. And this creates conflict. Conflict can be escalated into physical violence. Conflict can be avoided, which creates a sort of head in the sand type of experience for you. And it doesn't solve the conflict. You just prolong the inevitable, which is an eventual confrontation. It's better to take care of it before it becomes a bigger problem at the end of the day. How do you handle conflict within yourself? The interesting thing about conflict within the self is how it shows up. Internal conflict can lead to analysis paralysis, or it can just leave you with feelings of dissatisfaction, right? So these feelings, these energies that are conflicting within inside of you are trying to pull you in one direction or the other. And the attempt is typically to balance you, right? Because as polarized beings, we are both light and dark. We are both good and bad. We are both. We are all aspects, all sides, all things. And so when you have a conflict within yourself, there's a desire to try to reject one side in favor of the other. But what you're really doing is rejecting an aspect of yourself, unconsciously, of course. Yin and yang, right? You can't have one without the other. And that's how we are as beings. The only difference is we've been conditioned to believe otherwise. We've been conditioned by our circumstances to feel negatively towards certain ideas, certain behaviors, certain feelings, and more positive towards others. Who sets these standards? Well, society does. And the rest of the individuals within that society buy into these stories or not. The story of beauty, right? If you've been fed a story that beauty is only someone who is a size 0 and pale skin, and you don't fit that bill, then as a woman, you know that's really hard to accept. And this is when you get women who do extreme things. And the example I used, the size 0 with pale skin, is a very outdated standard of beauty. Now it's like tan skin with BBLs and it's like the opposite, right? And so women do these very extreme things in order to make their bodies appear more beautiful on the outside. And they think that this is what men like, and they think that this is what it is to be beautiful. Some women just want to be beautiful, right? And this comes from a conflict within themselves about what is actually beautiful. It's the fact that they reject how their vehicle has showed up into this experience, and they deem it as unattractive, right? And for guys, it's like maybe they don't have the muscles, or maybe they're not that tall, or, who knows? When it comes to degreeing differences for body shapes and sizes, we can either accept our vehicles or not. And what this does is create conflict within the self if we do reject these vehicles. And basically we become enemies to ourselves. We are at war with ourselves. A lot of people feel like they can win this battle by making changes externally, but the battleground is within, because it's all about perception. That's why someone will go out and get 40 different plastic surgeries to alter themselves into this ideal form of beauty, because in their mind they're just never pretty enough. And if they just get it just right, then they'll finally be beautiful, right? When you understand that beauty comes from within, you stop caring about how you look outwardly and you focus on your character, because that's what people are going to be spending time with. If you're trying to attract a mate, people are going to look at you, yes, but if you get on their nerves, it doesn't matter how beautiful you are, sweetheart, they're going to leave. They're just going to leave. Nobody wants to deal with a bad attitude and somebody who gets on their nerves all the time, right? People want to be around other people who make them feel good, who can see them for who they are, who make their lives easier and more enjoyable, right? So if you're constantly looking in the mirror, and this goes for guys too, because I've dated some guys and they're just looking in the mirror at themselves every 5 minutes after like 5 curls, and I'm like, there's more to life than that. When it comes to dealing with the conflict within yourself, it's all about making peace with the parts of yourself that you have denied, the parts of yourself that you are afraid to accept. You got to go in there and accept them. You got to accept them. It's the way to be. That is the way to peace. And this is what's going to help you eliminate conflict within yourself, to quiet the mind down. Meditation is really good for this. I'm a huge proponent of meditation. And some people say, meditation doesn't work for me. I sat down for, 5 minutes and I just couldn't quiet my mind down. Well, that's the whole point. You're learning how to quiet your mind. You're not just going to sit down and have a quiet mind. you have to train it to be quiet. So when it comes to resolving conflict within yourself, it's just a matter of accepting you entirely, in all your light and darkness, and being able to come to terms with some of your undesirable qualities, and loving yourself anyway. And once you resolve that conflict within yourself, within your heart, within your mind, you're going to see less and less of it in your world. And on a grander scale, you'll contribute less conflict to the collective. And we can start to see more peaceful situations emerge out of this darkness. And when I say darkness in that sense, I guess I should say not darkness, out of this ignorance. Darkness is just the absence of light. Ignorance is the absence of wisdom. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning into my video and taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And I hope that something has resonated with you. And I look forward to our next conversation where we'll be diving into some other topics. See you next time. Bye.